Hello, everybody. This is Vivian Xavier for another edition of Cinego Shorts Music on the Move 2021. Today, we're going to be talking to Jawad Sharif. He's a documentary filmmaker based in Islamabad, Pakistan. Um, and a lot of you might know him from the documentary that he made called Indus Blues. And today, we're going to be talking about that, his journey as a filmmaker, and what we can expect from him going forward. So without any further delays, I'm going to start talking to Jawad. Hello, Jawad. How are you doing today? Thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate you taking out the time to talk to us.
Thank you so much for an invitation, and I feel glad to be part of this platform. And yes, it's a good day, I guess.
Well, it's always a good day when you're talking about films, at least for me. So
Done.
um, let's start off with your journey. Like, what's your journey been in film, and especially in as a filmmaker in Pakistan. Where did you start? Did you always want to be a filmmaker? Was there something else you started and then you gravitated towards films? Please tell us your story.
So basically, I think it's about now 14 or maybe 15 years now. I started my career by assisting different TV drama directors here in Islamabad, in Lahore, and in Karachi. I used to work for Pakistan Television, and I assisted like a few very good drama directors there, and that's how my journey. I mean, it get started, and so initially I was more into the fictional stuff. I have made short films. I have made TV plays, TV series. I have directed different plays for different mainstream TV channels, and I have done music videos and stuff like that. I mean, a lot of commercial stuff and things. And then back in, I think, I guess 2012, 2011, 2012, when I realized that um somehow I am not getting that creative freedom, to tell these stories. Generally, that it was getting very monotonous for directing for TV. I felt like I was working as an operator rather than the creative professional or creative personnel. So I start getting. I start getting. I would say not fed up, but it was sometimes very frustrating, doing same shit again and again and again. And the content is, not, it doesn't have any substance. It's not satisfactory. It's not, it's not bringing some new perspectives, new ideas. And on the other end, there was it was a single narrative. There was not, I mean, not critical thinking was involved there. So those are the all things which actually forced me, or I would say encouraged me to shift towards the non-fiction, where I can get control of my own stuff, my own products, my own narrative, and that's how I started getting documentaries. But even still, if you look at my films, those are like non-fictional films, those are documentary films. But it's like you will get some like commercial feel from them, specifically from the trailers and from the visuals. And I strongly believe that even it's a documentary film, it should be aesthetically very strong, to engage the people and to engage the viewer. And the packaging should be very good to reach to the masses, and to the larger pocket of the audience. So that's what I am doing. But this was the core motivation, uh, coming towards the non-fictional cinema, and towards the documentaries, and towards the film.
Okay. And before I talk about Indus Blues specifically, because you touched upon a couple of very interesting points. Um, what's the difference for you between, I mean, apart from the obvious, what's the difference been for you in, in the fiction work that you did and the documentary work that you're exploring? Um, Apart from the fact that obviously you're looking at real life and, um, you're trying to engage the audience in a certain way. Has there been a difference for you, like, you know, possibly from uh, the other documentary filmmakers has, because you're trying to bridge that gap between fiction and documentary in terms of how it looks and what the packaging is. So, has there been any, what's the difference been? B, um, has there been any pushback, or how has your reception been in the wider, world of the documentary filmmakers in Pakistan? And C, um about the packaging, why do you think that is more important, even if you're working at the documentaries? I know it's a long-winded question, but I think it would be very interesting for, the audience to learn, especially seeing how successful you've been with Indus Blues.
Uh, so let me start with the A. I think interesting question. So generally, the core difference was the narrative, because when I was doing like commercial plays, the TV series and TV dramas, which is like very famous because of the all that rating stuff, and so what I felt, because in drama, I didn't have my creative control at all, specifically when I talk about the narrative, whenever I tried to add something into it, to bring like different idea into it, and to push writers to go beyond those cliched storytelling,
Mm,
it was like very disappointing most of the time. And specifically when it comes to the channel producers, the content heads, and the whole, I don't want to use word here mafia, but who controls the production things, the big mainstream studios. So this was the issue. Like I felt like I felt like lack of critical thinking, lack of intellectuality, and lack of experimentation. So this was one of the bigger reason. And now when I am making documentaries, I feel like I have that
freedom.
free space, that freedom where I can do experiments. And Indus Blues is like one of such kind of product, which is actually an experiment. And I am doing other films on topics which are never been touched upon before, or never been a part of the mainstream media. So this is the interesting thing. And the other difference was when I was doing plays. So you are dependent on the producers, on the channels, on the artists you are working on. So it's like there are a lot of stakeholders involved in the production. But when it comes to documentary, for me, so it's like kind of like independent thing. I can pick up my camera and I can go and shoot. If I don't have money, so I will film with my cell phone. I will film with my DSLR. So it's more about the storytelling thing. It's more, so the limitation is not about the financials. It's more about about your thought process. So I feel that freedom, and that freedom was very, it's like kind of fuel for me to keep working, to go on.
Mm,
And when I was doing plays, it was quite vice versa. I was getting frustrated, and I feel like bound, or mere haath jaise bande mein hai. So this is the bigger difference. Or yes, what was the point B?
so yeah, so was there any blowback from other documentary filmmakers? What's the support been for you from the wider documentary filmmaking sort of community in Pakistan? I know that there are quite a few documentary filmmakers who are based out of Islamabad, where you are from. So, what's the response been for you? Is there support in in you sort of exploring these stories? And The C part was obviously for well, maybe you can answer the B and then we can move to C.
Mm, I feel like Pakistan doesn't have that the documentary community, so I would say there are like different pockets, and most of the creative individuals or the filmmakers are part of those pockets. So I will blame myself too, because I have my own comfort zone and my own pocket, and like it's like very rarely when I get out of that pocket to reach to the other filmmakers and the people. So I feel like somehow we don't have that culture of collaborations, or that culture of sport, which is like missing here. But still I feel it was there are like very few filmmakers, and I feel they were a sport whenever I needed. So I when specifically when I needed advice about the content, and I used to share my first cuts to get the feedback, to get the technical feedback and stuff. So most of them were quite sportive. If I name like Haya Fatma, she's a good friend. Mo Nakvi, and there are like other few individuals. So yes.
Mm. So, well, maybe we'll come back to C later in the thing, but let's talk about Indus Blues because where did that idea come from? Why did you think that you needed to talk about, the instruments, the musical instruments that were, um, why is it important to talk about those? And uh, when you explored it, what was your process like? How did you go about, because obviously you had to get in touch with those people and then you had to sort of, so what was that process like for you, up to filming the thing, from the idea up till you actually going and filming?
Okay, so from the idea, somehow so I could relate to the idea, because it's more about about the artistic freedom, and that's what I felt. I wanted to work on. I am like kind of very old soul people, so it's more about like I am into the folk music, classical music, and slow music, so and I used to listen those instruments, and those those rhythms. I mean, it inspires me, and you as like as an filmmaker, I need music to start work on. So music is the thing, and which actually uh, create your mood and take you into the feel and to the different horizon, and it touches your, I mean, your soul. So generally I was into it. So so I don't know like where to start it. I mean, there were different reasons, and there are different perspective. One of the perspective is like I have seen some news where the people were like threatening the musicians at some event, and they were burning the instruments, and that was one of the reason which actually pushed me to think about it, and how we can, I mean, work on it, and how we can find the reasons what's wrong with the music, why music is forbidden, why it's an enemy, why it's not part of our culture. On other end, like it's very personal. I always felt like so let me tell you, like it's about the atmosphere, the environment where I am grown up. So generally, my parents, family, they think like music is not a good thing, and music is forbidden, and those, like, dance is not, I mean, it's not a respectable thing, in the society. And uh, and when I decided to come into the film thing, so I've got my degree in computer science. I have done BScs. So when I decided to come towards the film and photography and the visual stuff, so they were not happy with it. Like, it's not a good thing, and they don't take it as an respectable job till now. So it's very difficult to change the mindset. So
Mm.
that's why, I mean, you start getting frustrated. I mean, that when you don't get your space and you just used to listen your things, like, why don't you do some respectable job, like with the government, or maybe engineer or doctor, or sarkari mulazim, whatever, so then you start getting frustrated. And when you listen same stuff around your friend circle, like, what are you, I mean, up to, you belong from the very respectable family, and this, so this is how the whole frustration is. I mean, it was, I mean, it pushed me
Mm.
to work on
Next.
the artist.
Hmm.
I can relate to those artists who are actually, who are actually in the business, or the musicians, or the craftsmen, and every day they listen to this kind of statements. So how difficult for them to live in that
Yeah.
society, in such an indifferent society. So those are the all things which actually motivated me. And so, being through that process, it helped me to understand the pain of those artists, those musicians, and those indigenous people.
And in the documentary itself, I can remember the first scene. When you start off and you have this guy playing something so melodic, and and all of a sudden
Yes.
there's a there's a chaos, there's a break, and immediately you come to know what is, like, like you set up the audience for what the story is all about. What the documentary story is all about, what it is exploring. And so while you were filming, like, were you and your crew scared for your lives, or for what would happen to you? Because it's very unpredictable when you're in that situation, especially in Pakistan. So how did you guys handle that?
uh, so yeah, that opening scene, I would, I think it was not a life threatening situation, but it was a cultural threatening situation. So what happened, like, we got all the permissions, and so the concept was about film the cultural sides along that instrument and that music. So it was not just about the instrument, or which we are going to lose. It's about the whole culture which is linked with that instrument. So that was the purpose. So what when we made those instrumental videos, and we tried to capture those heritage sites, those cultural sites, with the rhythm of that instrument, that music. So we were filming in the Islamia College Peshawar, and we got the permission. And Islamia College has, like, it's like very haunting, and very very antique, very beautiful building. And we thought to film it there, and we were filming Sarinda. And as like it is the last instrument, and uh, in that setting, when we were filming, and there were like few people who just, who I don't know where it they got appeared, and they were like, no, you cannot film it. So it was such an sudden thing, and we are happy to film. I mean, we have set up the location, we got permissions after a lot of hassle and everything, and there are those young students from the same college, and they were like, you cannot film it. And so one of our artists, Arib. So he was actually having. He was there, and he was like, why we cannot film it? And
Exactly. Yeah.
the response from the gentleman was, because this is not our culture,
Mm.
you know. So looking at the situation, uh, so we have only Sarinda player in Pakistan.
The last surrender player.
The last Sarinda player, Ijaz Sarandi, and that heritage building, and then this happens.
Mm. So basically, they were stating something which is completely opposite to what you wanted to show in the documentary. That the
So the
that music is not just unto itself, but it's linked to our culture, right?
Yeah, linked to our culture, and that was not a planned thing at all. That was not. So we never thought like we are going to start our film with that sequence.
Mm.
It happened in the post production. It was like we never imagined like we are going to start our film, but that was the biggest question, and that was the thing, that if this is not our culture, then what is our culture?
Mm.
So what
Okay.
is our culture? I mean, that identity crisis, and it is not coming from some radical mullah, or it is not coming from the it is coming from the young student.
Okay.
So this is, I mean, such an ironic uh, thing, that coming from new generation and from the students, and it was heartbreaking. So so that's the thing, actually. I mean, that question, it gives, it has given us another direction, it has given us another perspective. So let's try to find what is our culture,
Mm.
which we are still searching. I mean,
Mm.
I'm searching, because there is a big debate between culture and religion as well. I mean, both are different things. You cannot mix up your culture, your indigenous roots with the religion. So both are very opposite things, but somehow I feel like we have mixed everything here, we have mixed up
Mhm.
everything here. And that's why we are in different kind of identity crisis, and our whole new generation is, including me, like we are part of this shit.
And do you think that um, when you say that the new generation, do you think that there it's a reason for them being influenced by something else which is not like if you're looking specifically at this, they're not being influenced by the or they don't have any avenues to be influenced by the traditional music.
No, it's not about the traditional music. It's generally, it's more about that music is a forbidden thing. Then we will come on traditional or pop or classical music.
Okay.
First we need this clarity. Is it forbidden or
Okay.
not?
Hmm.
We are stuck there. And it's not the influence. So the biggest influence is religion.
Okay. Hmm. And when you started this documentary to when you went into post production, did you go in with that same idea? Was it or did it change like you? mentioned, did it sort of evolve in post production after you saw what you had with you? Is that how you generally shoot your documentaries, where you sort of gather all the material and then figure out, okay, this is something we should explore, or you know what you want and then you go with that mindset?
Uh, so like with the Indus Blues, it evolved. I mean, through the production process, through the post production process, it was evolved through the whole process.
Okay.
It's not what I conceived it in initially. The film right now, it is something totally different. I mean, I didn't conceive and I didn't think about. I mean, I never thought about like it's going to be more political thing, you know. Uh, So I myself being political, it is going to be political, but I was not thinking that like more than half of the film is like about the
Hmm.
politics, about the debate and about the discussion going on. And it was a very challenging decision during the editing process as well, because I want to keep those statements. And but somehow, I mean, it was like the duration was like it was getting lengthy. The first cut was about the first, like the director cut is about 95 minutes, you know. So so this was the thing for me. But yes, it evolved through the process. And generally when I film, so my style is like very like it's cinema verite, you know. So it's more like observational thing. So I keep filming. I make some story in my mind, I make like some timeline in my mind, but I don't lock myself. So I just
Okay.
observe, I just go with the flow, you know.
Okay.
So I just try to connect dots during the production process, or and then in the post production. So it's more about the whole process of filming is like it's very evolving till we lock the film.
So, my next question is going to be something that we hate talking about, but it is such a huge part about filmmaking, because filmmaking is such a collaborative effort. Um, in Pakistan, I mean, there's very less funding for fiction films. People just don't, like you said, people don't look at it. You either look at it as a very unrespectable thing, or people look at it as cheap entertainment thing. Like there's no middle ground to it. So that obviously makes things very difficult, I'm sure. So how did you go about getting funding to make the documentary, to go to these places, to meet these people, to build that relationship? Because documentaries don't happen in a night. So can you explain about that, elaborate just a little bit about that?
Okay, so okay, for me, because I do like I still do my commercial stuff, my commercial projects. You know, I keep doing my commercial stuff. That's where my survival is. I make commercials for real estates. I make ads for telco sector. I make digital campaigns for the development sector. So that's where that's where my survival is, and that's where, and through my commercial projects I try to fund my passion projects. Indus Blues is a passion project. I am working on another project. It's like go to hell, you know. So it's been like 4 years since I started filming, and I didn't get a single rupee fund. Like I applied at like few funding festivals and organization. I didn't get any fund. I didn't get any success till now. But it's been 4 years and I am filming. So that's how uh, that's how I fund my passion projects. It's more because if I wait for money and funds and the producers, then it's not possible. I mean,
Hmm.
it's about the it's about your urge to tell a story.
Hmm.
It's
Also with
about
yeah, also with documentaries, they're so time sensitive. Like the subjects are so time sensitive. Like your new documentary, and we've seen the trailer. I've seen the trailer, and yeah, you're right. Like if you wait too long, what is there already will not be there. So
Yeah, it is time sensitive, and I feel like you can't depend on the funds. It's very difficult now. During COVID, post COVID, it's getting more difficult. And but I think like you should uh, keep doing your stuff. You shouldn't wait for the funds. I mean, just uh, you should keep applying for it, looking for funds. Maybe you get some grant for like $100, or maybe $1,000. So those are, I mean, that's how you support, you build, you build the whole project. So it's more about you shouldn't stop it. That's what I feel. And then what I do, so being a technical person myself, and it's very important for a documentary filmmaker. So I can film, I can edit, so when I don't have money to pay to the cinematographers, to the editors, or to the bigger crew, I just pick up my camera and I go. So I think this is the best way. So it's more about like your passion or your dedication uh, to the project or to the story. So
Mm.
uh, it's more about that. It's I feel like it's above the money thing, but still I feel like I have that edge, that I have my commercial portfolio too, which I don't share on my social media and stuff. But yes, so that's an edge, like I can get some funds through my commercial projects.
And speaking about Indus Blues, because so much about documentary filmmaking, just filmmaking in general, I think a lot of people don't realize is really the relationships you form. You know, so with the musicians that you met, how was it to form that relationship, and do you still have that relationship with them right now after finishing that documentary? Where are they now? What's happening with them now?
Yeah, I think it's very important to build a relationship with your subjects. So then they are not your subjects anymore. They are your family. They are like your circle, and sometimes they are your besties. And that's what I believe in. I mean, all the films which I have done till now and I am working on, I have very good relationships, and I build that trust with my subjects. You cannot get that access without developing the trust, or I mean, with just being a filmmaker. And you have to come out from your closet to connect with your subjects and with your people. And I found lucky myself because so the background I belong to, and I have gone through the process, so I connect with the people. So I when I start using that same language or same
Hmm.
slang, and and then you start sharing your cigarettes and your drinks and stuff, so you build a relationship. And I
Right.
am still connected with like my musicians, and we are still in touch. We keep sharing stuff even on the social medias. We make hearts to each other posts, and they keep sending me, I mean, different things, and I keep recommending them for different projects, gigs, to my musician friends, to my composer friends. Yes.
Mm. So, my last question is going to be how, obviously you go into a project, and as filmmakers, going into a project and that whole cycle and then coming out, it is a very transformative experience. And I don't think a lot of people know how life changing that can be. So, how has Indus Blues changed your life? And what are the lessons you've learned from that?
I think Indus Blues made me more humble. you know uh, because that experience, I say, like, K2 and the Invisible Footman, like that experience made me more spiritual because that whole journey to the K2 base camp. But talking about Indus Blues, I mean, uh, it was such a love journey. It was such a love thing to meet those pure people, those innocent souls, and I mean to connect with them, and that whole journey, that whole experience of the hospitality, love, sharing. So I mean, yeah, I don't know how to say this, but maybe the people around me tell me, or maybe answer this question in better way, like what changes they have seen into me. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Well, um, Jawad, thank you so much for joining us today on Cinego Shorts uh, discussion. And I know that you've been working on something, for the past 4 years, and I personally can't wait to see that and explore that story with you. Because that is an important story to be told as well, just like Indus Blues has been. So I wish you the best of luck in everything that you're doing and all the stories that you're exploring. And hopefully, in the future, funding will not be a problem for you.
Thank you so much, Ivan. And I am glad like you guys took this initiative, and best wishes for Cinego as well. I just want to add here, we just released our new documentary about on climate change. It's story about climate migration, but it's a very human story.
It is.
So the film is available on YouTube. You can visit our channel and watch the film. Please leave your comments. We are working on other projects. We are looking for the collaborations. So I am always available, and I, I I mean, I am really grateful to the people who are who are still now. It's been like 3 years to when we launched the film, and they are still following us. Thank you so much, and lots of love.
Well, it's all very well deserved. And again, Jawad, thank you for joining us. Have a great day and stay safe.
Thank you. Take care. Bye.
Bye.